welcome back. In today's video, we're finally gonna build this little ukulele kit that I got in the beginning of the year. If you saw the video I did in the beginning of the year where I said what's coming up, you saw that I said that I had a kit of a ukulele that I was gonna build. I haven't opened it since I got it, which is probably not a smart idea because, you know, if something is wrong or broken in it, then we'll see that now. And the chance of sending it back will be gone. But I kind of like it when it comes to like acoustic things and stuff like that, to let things lie for a bit. It's the same thing with guitar bodies. Even though I don't really build acoustic guitars, I have a bunch of guitar bodies that I've started up and I'm leaving them to dry extra. See, like, you know, you dry the wood, you cut it to pieces and make it into a body, and then you dry it extra and then you start working on it. Has nothing to do with this video, just letting you know that this kit has really been drying now, and it was probably already dry before. I assume it's plywood, so it probably doesn't even matter. It's just my way of sort of justifying being lazy and not just building it immediately, which I probably should have done, to be honest. But anyway, here is the box. I had to put a little bit of tape on it because it was separating. And yeah. Let's open this up and see what I get. So, here's some tape that I have to remove, obviously, because... yeah. Okay. There we go. Okay. Here's a neck. And this some sort of basswood, I think. It's crooked, the headstock. Can you see that? If I hold it like this, you see that these lines are not parallel to the top. They're sort of a little wing. It might not matter. I mean, and that also. Can you see how much it's that line there is not parallel to the headstock, it's parallel to the neck. Which, you know, that's a part of it being CNC'd and probably not operated by a very good CNCer. And here is the fretboard, and I just noticed that it's plastic. It's just a piece of plastic, and it has holes for your for screws, basically, to be screwed in. And we can't use that. That's not okay. We can't. No. So we're gonna have to make a new fretboard, because there's no point in putting this together using this. Maybe I can make a tie out of it, but we won't put it on this because no. Here's a bag of tuners, screws, and strings, and I can already tell. I don't know if you can see, but the nut is hollow, so it's not a very good plastic thing. But that's okay. We'll see what happens when we'll see what happens. I might make a new nut out of bone or something. And here's the body. Super small, super cute. It's fairly sloppy put together. I don't know if you can see that right there. It's a little, it's not that good. And like this edge here, they've just sort of gone through. And I am tempted to try to put binding on this. But the question is if I can. Oh, and the inside, you can see that it's super rough on the inside, so there's things sticking out. This might prove to be more work than I'm not drummer. I don't know what I'm doing. It might prove to be more work than I was hoping it would be. And here's the bridge, and yeah, it's the same thing. It's just a molded piece of plastic. I mean, this is a toy more than an actual instrument. But the idea that I had was that I would see if I could turn it into a real instrument, if I could somehow, you know, upgrade it, and while I was building it, and maybe make it into something that was more the thing that I would use, and actually maybe something good. Yeah, like a real thing, like sort of like, you know, taking a kit guitar, a cheap, you know, inexpensive, whatever you want to call it, Stratocaster, for example, and giving it a really nice paint job, and then, you know, doing all the fretworks and all of that, and making it really nice, and then eventually, you know, putting in good hardware and nice electronics, and just building your own custom cool guitar. I was thinking I'd do the same, but with a ukulele. Maybe could be cool. But now I don't know. It is potentially a lot more work than I thought it would be. Especially like this joint here, for example. It's not completely perfect. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little bit of a gap. It might disappear if I glue it, because the glue will take up some of that space. But then this thing as well. I don't know. Should I just put it together the way it is, or should I? No. Don't be lazy. Be gracious. I think I'm gonna. Maybe I'll start off by gluing in the neck. I was planning this whole going over the top and making it like the best thing ever made. But if I just switch out the fretboard for wood, and I try to find a hard piece of wood, something nice, I think I have something laying around, then maybe I can get around that. Because the neck is... This wood is not good, you know? I'm gonna pause the video right here, and I'll be back once I've done a decision. But I think I'll start out by gluing in the neck. The question is just... I also have to figure out how am I gonna clamp this in place. Let's start by gluing in the neck, actually. Let's just do that. Okay, so I'm gonna start off by putting down some tape. Just like so. And so. 2 pieces to begin with. And then I'll put in the neck. And I'm gonna take my 1 side blade knife, which I've shown so many times now that it's not even funny. You all know what it is I'm talking about, right? I'm just gonna score the tape like so. And the reason why is because if I remove the tape here in the middle now, then the glue squeeze out will be on the tape and not on the wood, and then the wood won't soak it up. And so, for example, if I want to stain this, which I think I want to do, but I don't really know yet, then it will look a little bit better. I'm putting down an extra piece of tape just because if the glue squeeze out is a little bit more than I was hoping it to be, then it won't go everywhere. So something like that. Okay. I'm gonna glue in the neck now, and I'm gonna try to put down a little bit of wood glue here. I think that will be the best option we have, because wood glue is good. And I'm gonna smear it around a little bit. We don't need overly much, but we also shouldn't cheap out and just have a drop. So an even nice layer of about 0.5 mil. And I did sand in between because I felt like the gap was a little bit too much, so I went in and just sanded it a little bit just to get it to be a little bit nicer. And yes, you probably can tell I have some foam on both sides, stuck down with some double-sided tape. And I'm going to show you how I would clamp something like this, or at least I'm going to try to show you how I would clamp something like this. Here I have, and this is a little bit fiddly, but it's not that bad. Here I have a little thing, I don't know the English word, sorry, but it's for when you're hanging up lights. So if you can buy these where you buy like lights to put up, basically. And it's just a sort of rope thing. I think it's acrylic rope. And yeah, you just you put it over here where the foam is. And the reason why we have the foam is because we don't want it to dig into the wood. It might still do that a little bit on the sides here. I hope I should be able to get around it. And then we just put these together and we tug on this. Come on now. As you can see, it's still fiddly. But I hope this is gonna let me clamp this down a little bit more easily, because it is annoying to clamp weird shapes, especially if you maybe don't really have the tools for it. Something like that. I'm gonna try and move this one over a little bit. But at least you get to see how fiddly it is in a sort of real-time thing. And yeah, I'll take some small pieces of foam, because I cut these out of a mat, yoga mat, and I'll just push them in where this is touching the body, because this is so soft that I really don't want to. I don't want it touching the wood, because then it might ruin it for me. So now it's not touching anywhere, and I can slowly tug this until I start getting some squeeze out. Let's see, there we go. Now I have some squeeze out, and I'm gonna try. I hope you could see anything because I had to focus on what I was doing. I hope you can see what I'm doing. I'm just gonna try to wipe that off, because it's easier to remove the squeeze out before the glue dries. I'm gonna come in with something else, I think. Something like that. And yeah, we have a little bit of a gap, which you might be able to see right there, that I'm gonna have to like put some fake wood or filler or something in there, or a piece of wood actually, maybe even. It's just because when I sanded this, I would have to sand so much to get rid of that, and I don't want to change this too much, especially since I've never really made a ukulele before. But yeah, we're just gonna leave this to dry now. Okay, so while I leave that to dry, I'm gonna try to find some pieces of wood that I can replace this with, because it's not, I mean, it's just a piece of plastic. It might work as a kid's toy poorly, but I don't think it will work for making something that is actually nice. But we can use this as a template. I mean, I don't have a reason to think that this won't work, and especially, I mean, it does fit very nicely size-wise, so we can use this as a template. I'm also going to try to find a piece of wood to replace this bridge with, and I'm going to try to use this also as a template to make it, because I don't have a reason to think that this isn't good, except for the material, basically. And if you have this kit and you're like, oh god, no, I wanted to just put it together for my 4-year-old, then you can definitely do that. I'm just not really doing that, you know. Like, I mean, I might give this to a 4-year-old if I find one, but I'm not gonna, you know, build it with that intention of, you know, not making it good. But I need to look for some pieces of wood in my scrap bin and see if I find something cool. Okay, so I have a piece of scrap wood that I found. This is walnut. It's not the best piece of walnut, but it's a scrap piece that I have laying around that I probably saved because I was thinking that I can use it to make some small little animal wood carving thing or something like that. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. It's gonna be better than this plastic. That's one thing that is for sure. I don't know, if I had made the body out of really nice wood and I had, you know, built it myself, then I probably wouldn't have used this for the fretboard. But it's a kit. It's not a very good kit, you can tell. And I think this is gonna be good enough. So I'm gonna use this as a template. It has a notch here, which is a little bit annoying because that means I can't put this completely straight with the grain the way I would have liked to. But I'm going to put it to the side a little bit like this. It will be a little bit worse than I think it should be. It won't matter that much, I think. And I'll use this as a template. And I'll use my one-sided blade that I've shown you in so many videos. And it's basically, it just has bevel on one side. It's super easy to make. If you've seen the video where I make it, you know how easy it is to make. So if you feel like, oh, he has a tool and I don't know where to get it. If you're, for example, if you're new here, then yeah, then you know now that it's just a piece of steel that I've sharpened on one side. It takes like 5 minutes to make. And now I have roughed out an outline that I can cut to. And I think I'm going to do that again because it's a little bit hard to see, and I might put down some tape or something. Give me a moment. So I'm going to cut off the excess. I've taped this down as a template, and I'm first going to cut this side, which you can't really see. But I'll show you here. I'll put my saw along this side and just use it as a guide to cut away this. And I'm going to cut straight down. I could make some sort of jig and try to clamp this in place and use my circular saw for this, but it's a very thin piece of wood. It won't take that long. It's not going to be that hard to do. And so I'm thinking that this will work, hopefully. It will be a little bit more work to go like this, but it's not that much more work, so I think it will be fine. And I'm just going to cut down like this. Then I just switch side and I start slowly, and I move the template. I need to realign it, and I'll put some clamps, some extra clamps on it just to help it. But there you see, even I make mistakes. I don't know why I... Damn, my English has gotten worse, I feel like. But maybe it's just because I'm talking to myself. I just start off slowly and take it easy until the groove has gotten a little bit further down, and then I can start sawing faster. Just realign that a little bit. And I realize some of you might think this is hard work, but it's not. This is fun. And then I'm just going to clean up the sides a little bit with a hand plane. Just a little bit. I don't need to go overboard right now because it's still very thick and very over the top. or whatever you want to call it. And then I'll just turn it around, clamp it in place, and feel this a little bit. And I gotta say, it's been a while since I've worked with walnut, and I have to just say, I love walnut. It's probably my favorite wood to work with, at least. It's such an, it's so amazing. It feels so good in your hands to reshape, which is maybe weird, and maybe some of you don't understand what I mean. But if you've ever worked with walnut and if you're into woodworking, then hopefully you understand exactly what I mean. It's just some woods that suit like carving and shaping and, you know, all the fun parts. Like, for example, wenge. If you've ever worked with wenge, you know it's a horrible wood to work with. It's beautiful and it's really amazing in a lot of ways, but it's just not a very pleasant experience to work with. So there we have it. It's basically exactly the same, but obviously it's a bit thicker, so I'm gonna have to plane it down. So what I'm doing now is I'm cutting it down to size, because obviously this is too thick, this is no fretboard. But I'm cutting it about 3 mils, 4 mils too thick. I'm gonna make this 1 mil thicker than the plastic, just because I think that would be better, and also because I think that kit will have a high string action, and making the fretboard a little bit thicker will help with that. And also, I'm going to put in real frets, and they need more space for the tang. And also, I don't know, the wood of the neck is so weak. I mean, it's not weak, but because it doesn't need that much tension. But I think a thicker fretboard of some harder material will work. But I'm cutting it oversized because I'm going to plane it down. So I try to do this, obviously, as good as I can and as straight as I can. I measured out a line and make sure everything is nice. And I'm going to try to cut this as straight as possible. But I know for a fact that I won't be 100% accurate with this cut that I do now. So it's oversized so I can plane it. So, here I have the piece of wood clamped down with double-sided tape to a perfectly flat piece of wood that I know is flat. And since I planed one side of the fretboard already flat, I can use those two together through my planer thicknesser, which is right here. It's a little bit dusty, to make this perfectly suitable for what we're doing. So I'm just quickly going to run it through here, and then we'll continue. If you don't have a planer thicknesser, you can hand plane this down. You just have to be careful to make sure that it is the same thickness all around and that it's perfectly flat. You can also put two pieces of wood that you know are perfectly parallel with each other on each side of this, and then go over it with your router. There's a lot of different ways you can do this. So don't be discouraged. I'm just gonna use this for time, basically, because it's gonna take just a minute or two for me to do it this way. So I'm gonna take this down to 4 mil, I think it is. I'm gonna double check that, and I'll be back. And now, as you probably can tell, hopefully at least, I have a perfectly flat fretboard. Okay, so the next thing to do is to sand in those grooves at the end. I don't know if you can see them, but I carved in the fretboard's little end piece. I can see it clearly, and that's what is important. When you're doing this, you need to make sure you can see what you're doing. And there you have it. Perfectly nice little fretboard. And obviously, you don't have to copy the end here. You can come up with your own design if you want to. But I'm staying with the one that came with it, just being a little bit lazy. Okay, so here is the body. Let's take off this clamp thing here. Loosen it a little bit. Pull at it. And it all falls off. We can remove this and this. This needs to be sanded, it looks very rough. And let's remove the tape as well, just to see if everything looks. I haven't really decided yet how I'm gonna paint this, but I'm thinking that I'll glue on the fretboard and leave it to dry. And while that's drying, I'll have myself a think or two about how I want to paint this. And right now I'm just using this to like get in there and just pull off the little bit of tape that is in between. And I'm thinking that maybe I'm gonna put some grain filler on and just even everything out a little bit, just because I think that might make it look nicer, and especially later when I actually go to paint this, because I'm thinking that maybe I'll put some clear coat on it. It's not the prettiest wood, but I think seeing the wood will still be nicer than if I just paint it like black or something. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. So I'm thinking that maybe I'll recycle this for now, just like this, just so I have something to clamp this to. And I'm thinking that if I take this that I know is flat and I put the fretboard on in between, then I can clamp everything down in a nice way where the fretboard is being pushed up against something flat, so that everything is flat. And yeah, I'll just put this here, maybe. I think this is gonna look nice. A lot nicer, at least, than the plastic. It could have been better, obviously, if I had everything being nicer. But yeah, you can't always get everything. Can sometimes get something. I've marked out all the frets on this piece here, and I just copied them over from the plastic fretboard. And on the first fret up on the side here, I'm gonna poke it with my awl, and on the second to last on the opposite side here, I'm gonna poke it with my awl. So I have a tiny little mark right there, which you're not being able to see, but I mean I can see it. And now I'm gonna take my drill, and with a 1.5 mil, I'm gonna drill a tiny little hole there. And then the opposite here. Just straight down like so. And then I'm gonna align where I want it. I'm gonna try to hold it exactly where I want it. I'm gonna take some masking tape to help me, and I'm gonna tape it down like so. Now I don't have to worry about it dropping, but I can hold it and measure and feel it so that everything aligns the way it's supposed to. And I'm just gonna take this drill bit and put it through this little hole until it touches, and just go just a little bit into the neck. And I'm gonna keep it very still, and I'm gonna do the same down here. And just with these tiny little holes, I'm gonna have locating pins so that when I clamp this down and I make sure everything looks nice and everything is flat, it hopefully also is nice and flat and not something else. So I press them in, and I'm just gonna press them into the fretboard so they stick out on the other side. And I'm just gonna have them stick out on the other side for like, I don't know, a mil and a half, something like that. It doesn't have to be a lot. Just a little bit like so. And so if I take this now, I hope you can see that it's sticking out. I can put this up here and I can locate them. And with just a little bit of finessing, I can press them into place. Might need to press them in a little bit further actually, now that I noticed that it was a little bit hard to locate them. But the only thing that is important is that we make sure that when we press them in, they don't go all the way in, because we want to be able to pull these out once everything is glued down. Even if you have to press them down a little bit with something like the back of a screwdriver, make sure you don't end up with problems, basically. Here I have a flat piece of wood, some foam, so that the nails don't dig in to the wood, here I have my glue, and here I have the backing plastic, and here I have 2 clamps. I don't think I'm going to need more than that, at least not right now. And hopefully I'm going to be able to do all of this in one go. Wish me luck. We'll see what happens. Okay, so we start off with glue, some of that on this fretboard. And I have to say, I know I've already said it, but oh, I love walnut. It's such a nice wood. Can you see what I'm doing? I'm going to try to film this, but it is difficult. Put some down and spread it around. We will get some wood glue squeeze out. Sorry, and we're gonna have to clean that up afterwards. But we are gonna sand everything, and we're gonna most likely, at least, no, but we're gonna do some grain filling as well, because I don't think I will be able to get this kit to look nice at all if I don't do some grain filling, and it would just be a shame to make this much work for something and then it doesn't turn out at least somewhat nice. It's my first ukulele build, so if it's not 100% sure or perfect, then I feel like that's okay-ish. But if it turns out to be bad, I'm gonna be sad. So just hit those in. Probably should have used something a little bit less aggressive, but oh well. Here we have it now. It's in place. And we put this here as well. Hope you can see what I'm doing. And take a clamp. And we put it headstock. And before we go too far with that one, let's get the next one. Okay, so now the neck is gonna have to be left alone. I'm going to leave it for a couple of hours, actually. The glue says 20 minutes and then you can work on it, but I don't trust it. I mean, I do trust this glue because I've used it for so many years and it's really good, but I'm going to leave it for a couple of hours and go and do something else. Governor? I don't know what I'm saying. I'm going to go do something else, leave this to dry for a couple of hours, not touch anything, try to get my camera to be straight, or we can keep this Dutch angle thing going if you think that's cool, and we'll see what happens. So we have a piece of wood here and I'm gonna try to turn this into the bridge. I was thinking maybe I could work on that while I'm doing this. So I'm gonna be super careful to have it stuck down here, and I'm gonna try to score this little line there that maybe you can't see that I've drawn out, just to square it up. Okay, so now I need to draw out some lines and do some measurements, make sure this looks nice and perfect and matches up with this bridge as a template. So I'm drawing some lines around it, something like that. Okay, and this wall here is approximately, come on with me, that is 3 mils from the edge. So I'm gonna make a mark here and here, like that. I'll take a ruler and I'll line those two up, like that. There we have the outer wall, the line for the thickness of the bridge. Like that. We might have to move those, but we'll do that when we have to. And then we have here, we have a line as well for the strings, and it's there. Okay, let's cut these out. I've established some lines and I've done some work, and this, it doesn't fit. Which, I mean, obviously I don't know if we're going to use that one, so it might not matter. But I'm going to try to see if I have a file that is, yeah, this one is the same size. That's super convenient. Let's just see if we can open this up a little bit. We want to make it a really, really snug fit, but we don't want it to be so snug that we potentially break the wood. So, something like that. Actually, it's a little bit loose now. We might have to glue the saddle in, but it's not going to be this one anyway. So, same thing here. We have to create this back border thing. The holes drilled. So, I've measured it out and I've poked with my awl little markers, and I'm gonna try my very best to drill as straight as possible. Like that. And then we can unclamp it. I put some foam so that the jaws here wouldn't affect too much. And I can see, drilled pretty good. I'm gonna just check this. Yeah, that's good. So here I have the bridge, and you can't see it, but I've made a little line there. And I'm just going to carve, I'm going to try at least to carve this down. Just to the bottom, basically. To create a little bit of a loopy loop. I don't know what to call it, but I don't want the bridge to, just because it's, you know, a template of this, to be as boring, basically. So I'm trying to create a little bit of finesse to it. Okay, so here's the bridge right now. I reshaped this part here, the saddle a little bit as well. I'm not going to use this, or at least I don't think I am. So I just made it like that, so it would match up. So when I cut out a piece of bone, I can make it better, basically. You know, some sort of word. Yeah, once I do the setup, I'm gonna, you know, see if this needs to be lowered or raised up. Because this one is a little bit smaller than this one. But hopefully it won't matter. Because, yeah, it looks nicer. It all looks good. I think it is, at least. All good. Let's see if we can get our hands on these and pull them out. There we go. One. There it is. And the next one. There it is. And here is the neck. It's all looking okay, I think. Yeah. Good, good, good. I measured out the 12th fret, which is the end here, and doubled that. And now I've transferred that line over to the edge where this one goes. So now I can meet up those two lines. I don't know if you can see that line there on the side and on that side there. Yeah, so I tried the whole string alignment thing, you know, that you're supposed to do, but I just don't trust it in this case. So I'm gonna measure it out instead and just go by those numbers instead. So the idea is basically this: align the two lines on the side like so, and align the two lines on the back and front. This one needs to be made longer. Something like that, maybe. It's better they are too long than too short, because otherwise I can't see them. Align these lines here and here, and align that line and that line. Just basically push everything around like so. And then take a razor blade and score carefully. Just enough to go through the tape. You don't have to go crazy and push down with all your might. But there we have it. And now we can lift this up. Yeah, we have a hole. And probably should have gone overboard with the tape a little bit, but I didn't. So I'm going to take some tape and I'm going to just add a little bit here. So. And so. And so. I don't know why I'm saying so every time I put down tape. It's kind of ridiculous. So. The body is lying in a place that's good. I have the bridge, I have the glue. I'm just gonna do this. I've put in a clamp. I'm gonna go with one clamp, even though I kind of wish I had two, but I don't have any clamps that are small enough but long enough for it to work. I usually put down glue when I do this on acoustic guitars and leave about 1 mil of glue away from the edge so that I have a border for the squeeze out to be pushed out and into that edge. And I could probably have explained that better. But here I just feel like it's too much area, and if I start worrying about that, I'm never gonna get anything done. So the bridge is in place and the clamp is ready, and we're just gonna tighten everything down. I'm not gonna put down as much pressure as I maybe would building in something else. And then, yeah, take some paper, get rid of some of that squeeze out before it becomes a problem. Squeeze it out onto the wood, onto the tape, and just clean it up. Take a screwdriver, push on the paper, and pull. The bridge has moved a tiny bit, which is not good, so I need to just something like that. Now we can remove the tape, squeeze out or anything. It's all good. Okay, so here I have some mahogany grain filler, and I'm just gonna take some of this and I'm gonna put it in a little bit of water so that it becomes even easier to work with. I don't really know how much I'm gonna need for this, but I'd rather make a bit too much and too little, and then I'm gonna try to dissolve it by stirring it around like this. Can you even see what I'm doing? It's like clay water or something. And the thing is, I need to sand this thing. It desperately needs to be sanded. But I feel like I don't want to go overboard on it, you know? I don't want to spend 6 hours sanding a kit that costs like $13 and that isn't really that impressive to begin with. I hope you understand. So I'm going to just do it like this and sand it once I'm done with the grain filling, basically. So here is the thing. I've taped I put masking tape on to hide, to make sure I don't get anything on. And I cut the headstock like this. It's not my proudest achievement in life, but I hated the way it looked, and it was, you know, it didn't match up with the angle. And you can apply this in a bunch of different ways, but I am going to apply it with a finger and just smear it around like this and try to work it in. And slowly it will all turn into this weird color. And I'm going to try not to get any on the fretboard, but as you can see I get it in the holes. We'll fix that later. Anyway, there it is. It's not perfect, but it's okay. And I might actually go over it again in a bit. I'm going to leave it to dry. It says on the can how long you have to wait, but I didn't look at that before doing this, so I'm going to have to check it now. So see you in a bit. Okay, so now let's try out the experiment that was... I've done this before to other guitars, but I haven't done it to this sort of thing. And the idea is basically, let's put on some stain and work it in to the top and just smear it around and see what happens, basically. And then we'll sand it back again and we'll reapply it again. But I think I'm going to go with another color because I don't think this brown is not what I want. I don't think. It's a bit too, I don't know, it looks a bit muddy almost. But that's okay because the first layer is just there to be sanded away. So I know this maybe doesn't look that good to you right now because I mean it doesn't look that good to me. But I think I'm going to go with a golden brownish instead, something a little bit lighter. But first, we just apply this and we just smear it around and cover everything. And then we're gonna leave it to dry for, I don't know, half an hour maybe? I don't know. Okay, so here it is now, and I have to say, I'm not super happy with it, to be honest. Maybe it's because of how it... maybe it's because of how it absorbed it unevenly or something, but it looks kind of dirty and boring. But let's put on this stain and see if we can work it in a little bit, and if we can get this golden brown hue to maybe help us out a little bit. And you know, in worst case scenario, I do have a black stain that I really don't want to use, because I kind of want to have some sort of like wood grainy thing going. But in worst case scenario, we'll just apply that black one, and we'll have a black little ukulele. Who knows? But let's start off with this one. I'm just trying to work it in, and I can already tell this is, I don't know, it's not looking great. I don't know. Never mind. I'll just apply this to the entire thing, and we'll see what happens. Sounds good? Sounds good. Okay, so here it is right now. And obviously I haven't removed the tape. And the thing is, I used the mahogany grain filler on it, and then I painted it and sanded it, and you know, did all the steps, and I just didn't think it turned out very well. I don't like, I've done this on actual guitar bodies, solid blocks of wood and not plywood, which this is, and I felt like it turned out great. It's a way to make the natural way of the body, of the wood of the body, pop out a little bit more, to use a grain filler that is darker to sort of create a different balance or feel to it. But I didn't feel like it worked here. I didn't feel like this turned out the way I wanted it to. I felt like it looked dirty, so it's like someone had been touching it with dirty hands, you know, like muddy fingers. I don't know. And so I painted it black, and it's a nice even black, but it's really boring. So I'm gonna take a break now. This was supposed to be a, you know, one-day build, going pretty quick, and now it's been my entire weekend, and that's fine. I don't mind. It's fun to build things, and I like it when things take the time they need, because that's cool and fun. But I don't want it to take too long. But I need to take a break and try to figure something out. And we're most likely going to go with black, but maybe black and something else, because there's no... I don't want to waste a bunch of time building something that looks nice and then it doesn't look nice, you know. And like the fretboard is a nice thing, and I was thinking of making maybe an inlay on it or something like that. I don't know. I'm gonna take a break now and we'll see, but I kind of want to make an inlay because it's been so long since I did an inlay on something, and I actually really love to do inlay work. And yeah, I don't know. I've put myself in a situation where I don't get to do that as much as I would like to, so it would be nice to do that. I don't know. Hey guys, so it's been about 8 months actually, and I haven't come up with anything. Here is the headstock, and here is the new fretboard that I made that you've already seen. Here's the body, and here, whoops, is the back and sides. And I'm happy with the parts that I made. Like the fretboard looks really nice, the bridge looks nice. But the blotchiness and the not very well stained thing, which is not my fault. I know someone's gonna say that, oh, if you just had stained it correctly or something, but no. But there's other thing going on in the body that makes it harder. There's, you know, there've been things put on, sealers and stuff like that has created the issues for me. But that doesn't really matter, because the pieces of wood are not that nice looking. So it doesn't matter if you stain them. Anyway, all in all, I just want to say that I'm turning this into a part 1 of 2, because I don't know what to do, and so I'm hoping that maybe you guys can help me come up with some cool thing that I can do. Cover all the black in, you know, paint. I can paint it. I can make it a solid colored thing, or I could, you know, put something over it. Cover the front and back, or whatever. I don't know. I have no ideas. I don't know at all what I want to do with it. But I feel like I have to get these things out of the way before I can continue and finish it up. Which I want to do, because I feel like it's going to turn into a good thing. I'm going to, you know, it's going to be a good little ukulele. Probably not the best, because I'm a little iffy on this kit. So, you know, I doubt that it's going to be, you know, a very high-end quality thing in the end, but at least, you know, I think it's going to turn out nice enough. You know, might give it to a neighbor, or you know, one of the kids in the neighborhood, and see if maybe they want to learn how to play the ukulele, and that could be fun. And yeah, you know, just for fun, why not? But yeah, anyway, I'm gonna end the video here, and we'll do a part 2 after you guys have given me a bunch of suggestions of what to do with this one. And yeah, hopefully there was enough in this build, this part 1, for you guys to like it and get started with your own kits, and we'll finish it up in another video. I realized that maybe it's a very long video for something that isn't, you know, a finished product by the end, but I feel like it's been 8 months since I started this, and it should have been done by now, but I can't come up with anything, and I don't want to just do one boring solid color. You know, you can buy a ukulele that is just red or just blue or something like that. I want it to be a little bit more special than that, at least. Maybe there will be a part 2. It all depends on you. And until next time, thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to stay awesome and cool. And go and have fun building something and being creative and expressing yourself in a creative way. Because everyone needs to do that, and it makes life worth living, and don't miss out on doing that. It's one of the most important things. So, I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Stay safe until then, and also after that. Bye-bye.